Joined by one of last night's winners, Keith Wilkowski, in the Toledo mayoral primary. First of all, congratulations on the big win yesterday.
Thank you very much.
You finished first. Were you surprised by any of the results you saw, or did you feel pretty positive going into yesterday?
Well, really, the only thing I paid attention to throughout is trying to do the best job that we could, not just yesterday, but for months before, in talking to Toledo voters about the issue that I think is number one in their minds, and that is jobs in the economy. And if we want money for roads, we want money for police, we want money for firefighters, and we do, we have to have people employed. And that's where my background in economic development really came into play. So that's what I'm pleased about, that we were able to connect with that message that was been delivered for a long time.
And jobs really seemed to be your key message.
Right.
I mean, I saw it on signs. You talked about it all the time. Do you think that was really the thing that people honed in when it came to deciding between you and the other 5 candidates?
Well, I think that that is the basis for selecting me as the next mayor of Toledo, is that I have experience. I was a county commissioner when we helped bring Bax Global Burlington to the airport and 1,000 good jobs, and I was a city law director when we put together economic development agreements between Toledo, Maumee, and Rossford to form these zones, and we have thousands of people working there today. So that experience, coupled with a vision, an economic vision of the future of solar and wind and what we can invest in, and having an economic development plan, which a city doesn't have, I think that's the message that voters connected with.
Does the message change at all now that you've gone through the primary, or do you feel like you really need to hammer your jobs message even harder now?
Right. Oh, I think that I have to continue to do that. You know, we all think that everyone has heard you when you've said something in one format or another,
right,
and they haven't. And there's still a lot of people out there, a lot of doors to knock on, a lot of people to communicate with. And again, it's because police is so important, public safety is so important, it's because firefighters are important, it's because roads are important that we need to have jobs, be able to have the money for those things.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So it's not just sort of a one-note thing,
right,
it's all together.
Okay, well, let me ask you specifically. You brought up those 3 items, police, fire, and roads, and they kind of went against each other yesterday with issue 1 that went down. As you're looking ahead in the fact that you might be the mayor one day, do you see the budget deficit? Are you thinking about that now, and are you thinking about what kind of things you might need to do in 2010?
Oh, absolutely. You know, one of the things I've advocated for a long time, Sean, is 3-year budgeting, so that we're not just trying to patch a hole right now, that instead we should be today looking at not just 2009, it's hard to believe we're still trying to patch that hole.
That's true, yeah.
2010, 2011, 2012. We should have some plan in mind. Now, those things will change, but we need to begin doing longer-term planning if we're going to have better results. We need to do things differently in city government. We need to enter into intergovernmental agreements to reduce the cost of delivering governmental services.
Which in turn will bring down, hopefully, that budget deficit.
That's exactly correct. Right. We have to do, one of the things we should not do to try to fix this situation is a tax increase. Okay. Now, I've said that repeatedly, that we cannot do that. It's going to drive people away. It's unfair to middle-class families here who are struggling to make ends meet, and it'll prevent us from doing things in a different fashion. Okay. So that can't be one of our solutions.
Keith Wilkowski, thank you very much, and best of luck to you in November. And that is tonight's Talkback.